You lie, you think, you waste, you make things unreal. My time, you waste, my life that you steal. Your face, my face, it's all so unreal. The cloud over my head.
The Dimlite, to me, and it really always has been, just a group of real close friends that get together and make music. One of the most important things in my life. It's turned into so much more than a hobby. It's something that we do on a regular basis, but to me, mainly, it's a group of friends that when we get together and make music, it's just magic. The band members now are me, which I do vocals, and I run a lot of stuff when I do the vocals. I run my own effects for my vocals. I run a loop station, that way I can have different sounds and stuff in front of me. That way I could also have vocals I do that can back me up while I'm live on the stage. I can hit a button and more or less have vocals back me up, have myself back me up. All right, and then my brother, which is, to me, awesome having my brother in a band with me. He never gives himself enough credit because, you know, he's a rhythm guy and we're all into, you know, rhythm style music. He doesn't do the leads or, you know, face melters and all these crazy leads, but that's really what's the way my brother plays is really defined how Dimlite sounds. And then I would say the heart and soul of the band, and probably the most talent, would be Josh Kushner on the drums. He just has talent that exceeds most of us. I've known him since kindergarten, first grade. Since I met him, he had a drum set in his basement. We're blessed to have someone like that to be with us that long and stick with us that long, and also for, like I said, we're all best friends, and having, you know, first grade with the guy, you wouldn't think that for after all these years that we could still be as close as we are and friends like we are, but he is the heart and soul and the rhythm. We wouldn't be nothing without Kush. And then Ron Ford, when you know, we went through a couple different bass players and that, and trying to fill a void, but no one could ever truly replace Kyle. You know what I mean? Like, no one could ever replace the bass player that we had that passed away. But what was nice about Ron when he came in and we decided to start playing again is just the dedication that he had. Like, he once he found out he was in the band, I think he bought 3 different basses. He bought a new bass head. I mean, just the money he was spending, putting into the band. And not only that, just to get him in the band, we were like, you know, we need a close friend first, you know, and he's always been friends with us. But like I said, we can never replace Kyle, but when we got Ron Ford, the talent he has and the motivation and dedication that he has to this band, you know, we couldn't find that from anyone else, and that's why he was a perfect bass player for the band. Like, he just worked out, you know, tremendously.
Why did I join Dimlite? I saw an opportunity to get involved with a band for the first time that was lacking, you know, any prime egos. We all kind of do our own thing.
The other guys in the band, first I'm lucky because they're best friends first. I always say we're friends first and a band second, which just makes us a better band. I get to play with my kid brother and Kush and Ron, and it started with me and Kush. I couldn't have a better person to be a drummer in my band. He's everything that I would look for in a drummer. When Ron Ford came in, me and him played guitar together a lot, and I thought he would be a good fit because we already clicked as guitar players, and he never played bass before. So, asked him if he wanted to try playing bass for us, and he went out and bought 2 basses within the first 2 weeks, and we just play well together. He knew where we were going. He understood what we were trying to do, and it's the first band he's been in where he was creating his own music and his own sound, and he's been amazing at it. And then I get to be in a band with my kid brother, which is also my best friend. It's nothing cooler than that, seeing him take charge of the stage and be our front man. He is fun to watch. Sometimes I forget it's my little brother doing it because he's very professional up there. He's always, through the years, ran all of our sound and stuff for us and kept us all together, in the sound department. And it's been awesome to be in a band with my best friends.
I can't say enough good things about the members of the band. First, my best friend and singer Keith, he's doing things out there that I don't even know what he's doing, but he's doing a heck of a lot of work up there. Not only from just vocals to being our sound guy and sound engineer, he's playing loops and samples that it's breathtaking. My brother Ope on guitar, he's my musical partner. I've been playing with him ever since I started playing drums, and we lock in tight, better than I've ever played with another guitar player. And Ron Ford, what could be said that hasn't been said about him? He started as a guitar player, and now he plays bass. It's a quick transition to make, and it's actually quite a hard one. But he picked it up, learned all the skills and all the songs on bass, and can't say enough good things about him.
They're a great bunch of guys. Known them for about 6 years now going on. And they do anything for you. They take a bullet for me. They're a real good bunch of guys.
Dimlite started all the way back when I was in high school. It was just more or less originally started where Josh Kushner, the drummer, played guitar. He's always had drums, but he played guitar. And then it actually originally started where my brother was on the drums and Josh was on the guitar. And just for fun, never took it seriously, but they switched off one day and started playing, together with Kush on the drums, my brother on the guitar. And then what happened after that is just they practiced a couple times, and it was just, just a hobby, nothing we took too serious. But I'll never forget this. They didn't have a singer or anything like that, but what ended up happening is one day I was lifting weights. I was like bench pressing or something, and they were just started playing a good riff. My brother was playing a good riff on the guitar, and Kush was making a great beat, and without no mic or anything, I just started yelling and singing, making up lyrics on the spot. And it was funny, after we started doing it and we figured out that I was going to sing for what we started, I was like, hey, we need a bass player. And I'll never forget this. Our old bass player, Kyle Exley, that had passed away, the first thing he said, he was over there watching us play, and we were like, hey, we need a bass player. He goes, my brother got a bass, and he took off running out the door, ran all the way down the road, like half-mile away, middle of the summer, grabbed his brother's bass and ran back. But to us, we still laugh about that today. Hey, we need a bass player. And Kyle went, my brother got a bass, and took off running straight out the door and came back all sweaty with the bass. And that's how, it kind of got put together.
I'm James Keller from Dissension. I have a long history with the Dimlite, and I'm very proud of. It all started back in the early 90s, you know what I mean? I'd come up from North Carolina to stay with my dad and visit my friends, and I got taken. I was with Kyle Exley, and he would say, hey, you want to come to see my band play? And I'm like, yeah. So we'd go to the Grange in Kings Creek there, and and just party down. And it was so much fun, the energy this band had. And I was like, even back then I was kind of jelly because I was always wanting to be on stage and was hanging out, and they just threw a hell of a party. I got real close with the guys for a while there, and then I moved away again, and of course a tragedy took place. Opie started coming to he came to one of my shows and was talking to me back and forth. We knew each other, and he was like, "You got to come check out the band." And I didn't put two and two together. It's been so long since I'd seen him, I didn't recognize him, and so forth. I sat on a step in this room here, and they just started. And from the moment Kush hit those drums, and then everybody just kicked in together, and it just brought goosebumps onto my arm, like my hair raised up. So when it got done, I asked him, I said, how come you guys ain't playing shows? And pretty much the first thing Keith said to me, he goes, no, we're gonna focus on demo, and we're good right here. So I took it upon myself to book a show, and I didn't tell him about it. And I will laugh about this till the day I die, because I scheduled a show, I put their name on it, and then the next day I woke up and I made sure I verified that show because I couldn't remember doing it. So I called up the place, I said, did I put Dimlite on there? He's like, yep. I said, great. And I just advertised it on Facebook. About 15 minutes, I'd say, after the initial post got hit, I get a call from all four members of Dimlite at the same time. Boom, 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 boom. What are you doing, man? I'm like, yeah, we got to do it now. I already posted it out there. I scheduled it, And they're like, whoa, I was like, nope, you got to do it.
And the thing with Cal Exley, truly someone that played as good as him and had the talent that he had can never be replaced. But, if you ask me, when he died, we took a hiatus to where, when he died, I buried the band with Cal. I didn't think that we'd ever, play again. And, starting to play again and play our music, I think that he would want us to continue doing what we're doing and keep playing. I mean, we even changed our lyrics talking about Cal. We have a song called Bass in the Beat, and it says, we are Dimlite here and now, but we'll never forget Brother DeCal. That was his nickname, was DeCal. So, heart and soul, he's always with us, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of him. He was my best friend. He was in the band, just like how everyone in the band are best friends, but there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Cal and how much we miss him. But you can't tell the story of Dimlite without talking about the original member. He wasn't there from the very beginning, but as soon as we needed a bass player, he was there. And you can't tell the story of Dimlite without talking about Cal Exley. I love him, miss him, think about him every day.
When Cal passed away, did I think Dimlite would continue? I wasn't sure. I definitely questioned that, man. He was such a huge part of the band, an original founding member of the band. I questioned that a few times, and then I really hoped that they would, because I know that Cal would want them to. I can't see, his love of music, him not wanting them to continue and play on without him. I couldn't see that. So when I heard that they found a new bass player and they were going to keep on doing it, I was ecstatic. So it was great to see that they pressed on, because that's what he would have wanted, I'm sure.
People should come see the Dimlite live, because when you put it on a disc and you're in a studio, there's only so much you can do. And it sounds great on the disc, don't get me wrong, but when you come out to see us live, then you get the real feeling of what we're about live. Just seeing our bass player Ron Ford on the bass and my brother on the guitar, and then watching Kush, our drummer, on the drums. I mean, it's just to see it live is just so much better than hearing it on a disc. Our manager, which is my nephew, Skylar, you know, some of the live shows, I'll have him back me up on lyrics. Like he'll be out in the audience and a certain part comes up and he's practiced and he knows it. And I'll hand the mic down to him like this and he'll back me up. And just to see the whole crowd's faces light up even more when they see a little guy, my little nephew, back me up on lyrics. I mean, by the first time I did it, you know, everyone's smiling. By the second time, there were so many people there, they're holding Skylar up in the air just because they knew they had his part coming up, you know. But that's why people should come see us live.
What do I think about Dimlite's live shows? I'd say since the very first one that I saw back in the day when they used to call them the Rotten Pumpkin Bash when they played once a year, just energy from the jump, man. I mean, when they were still just playing with one little amp and just you know, not much any equipment at all, just getting started. It's just the energy always got the crowd into it. Keith is just his stage presence is just bigger than anything else, and Ronnie and Keith, with the way they play together, it's amazing. So the energy is just incredible every time they play.
Oh, their live shows. Oh, their live shows are pretty intense. You know, it's kind of, there's really no words for it. You know, they put everything they got into every song and try to make it the best show that they can actually, you know, play. It's like, you know, they could be playing a club with only 20 people and they act like it's the fucking main stage of, you know, a civic arena or something like that. So, you know, they just put everything they got into every fucking show, so.
Coming to see us live is where I think we do our best work, because that's how we write our music. We write it thinking of playing it live. We don't really write about, you know, thinking about a studio. We write thinking about how it's going to sound in a live, you know, in a live venue and in front of people. And we keep it super raw. We don't use a lot of effects. I plug straight into an amp. I don't, you know, use pedals or anything like that. It's just plug in and get the best sound out of it as we can. So we, you know, base it off of how we write it. So our live vibe is really what I think we're all about, and that's how we get the support that we get, is because we go out and try to have that live feel. And we've had great support. I mean, our friends have been phenomenal at being there for us and supporting us and stuff, and then seeing all these new faces that are coming out to shows and you know, hitting us up on Facebook and things like that and giving us compliments. And you know, we've been very lucky to have that kind of support. And then you have, you know, when you're going out to sell tickets and promote yourself, you know, it's a little humbling at times, but it's good to get that feedback after they get to see us play out, you know, and have the band manager forcing you to go out and sell tickets. And
what I do for the Dimlite as their manager is I book the shows, I contact the people, I take care of most of the money. I'm just here to help them out, becoming bigger and bigger and bigger.
Growing up in a small town in West Virginia without a lot of local bands around, I'd have to say that they are definitely my favorite local band from the Weirton and the entire Pittsburgh area, for that matter. Totally original in what they do and sound and lyrically, and just a great bunch of guys in general.
The future of Dimlite is right now we're planning on going back in the studio. Not only doing the studio stuff, is like every time we have band practice 2 days a week, we come down here. What we work on is all new material. And what's nice is we're putting together new material, new songs, and just piling it up to where the future is. Besides playing out these big shows we've been getting in Pittsburgh, besides that is to get you know, a long list of songs that we like that are good enough that we can go back in the studio and put 13 songs or so and have a full length, you know, disc. So that's what I see in our future, is just moving forward, and just like I said, going back in the studio, because the support we've been getting has been amazing. So like, for us not to go back in the studio and give people more music that they love our music would be cutting ourselves short and cutting them short.
The future of Dimlite to me will be us, mainly in my eyes, is to just keep writing new music. We've been a band for a long time. We've been, you know, always working on our own stuff, and we still play songs now that have, you know, changed and grown throughout the years that we started working on the first year we were together as a band, and they've evolved throughout the years. But that's always been my favorite part about us, is creating new music. So that's what I see our immediate future is, just to keep creating new music. And because we've gotten better as a band, our newer music, I think, will be a lot better as we go on. And it's been fun to go out and try to, you know, show other people our music and get out and play live shows, which we did very little throughout the years until just recently. Now we're out a lot, and the more we do it, the more we enjoy it, and the more feedback we get from people that we don't know, that hasn't, you know, grown up listening to us, like a lot of our friends have. So it's great to get out, and yeah, I like being able to put that music out and record it, and something that our kids can listen to, and know that was their dad's bands growing up is pretty cool. You know, taking my boy around the shows, and somehow he became the band manager, and now he tells me what to do. But other than that, it's cool to be able to take him places and see how people in the crowd react to him, and he's a trip to watch. So it's fun to watch, how that all comes together. And I just want to keep creating music, putting it out there, and just keep seeing where it's going to go, man. It's been a blast. Yeah. I'd say our future's dim, but that would be the wrong thing to say. It's bright.
What do I think of the future of Dimlite? The road that they're on right now, if they continue to press on, I think the future is just limited. The possibilities are limitless for them. I mean, they have every bit of the skill set to go anywhere they want to go. So I'd say it's just up to them right now to to put in the energy and get it done. And I think their possibilities are limitless, man. They could go anywhere they want. They need to get a record done so we can all listen to it in the car.
As the manager, I see the future of Dimlite being big. They're gonna become big. They're gonna be all over the radio. You're gonna hear people talking about them. They're gonna have like newer places and more places to go. They're gonna travel. People around the world are gonna want to hear them. They're gonna go back to the studio. They're gonna want to do all this stuff, and I really think they can do it.
What do I see in their future? I see big things in their future, man. I really think that the right people are going to come along and, see what kind of talent they really are. And I think in the next couple years, man, you're gonna see Dimlite worldwide.